Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk to you all about the Acer Predator X34. I'm not going to be reviewing this monitor in depth as it has been around for a while, but instead I'll talk about my experience with it for the past year and a half and whether or not I think you should get it. So let's go over the specs first. This is a 34-inch ultra-wide curved monitor with a 21:9 aspect ratio and a resolution of 3440 by 1440p. It has an IPS panel and it also comes with G-Sync technology. Out of the box, this monitor is at 60Hz refresh rate, but you can overclock it to 100Hz using the on-screen menu. At the back of the monitor we have a display port, HDMI port, a 4-port USB 3 hub, an audio jack and a power input. It also has built-in speakers and it lets you pick between 5 different colors for the lighting: red, green, blue, white and orange. So now that we're done with the specifications, I'll talk about my experience. So when this monitor was released, a lot of people were having issues getting the monitor to overclock to 100Hz refresh rate, and that made me hesitant in buying it, as there were quite a few other ultra-wide monitors out there that were significantly cheaper than this. Anyone paying close to £1,000 would want to be sure that they're getting what the manufacturer is advertising. Fortunately, when I bought mine, it did overclock to 100Hz. I did feel like I was one of the lucky ones, which shouldn't have been the case. But those weren't the only issues at the time. A lot of games at the time just didn't support the 3440 by 1440p resolution or the 21:9 aspect ratio. Overwatch, Tomb Raider, Dota 2 and a fair amount of other games. Now there were a lot of games that did support it, but to run those games at their highest setting and to benefit from the 100Hz refresh rate, you needed really good hardware. At the time, the best you could get was a Titan or a 980 Ti. So I ended up buying two 980 Ti's, but even that couldn't run games like Witcher 3 at its highest. Now that was the other issue, cost to run games at this resolution. So if you think about it, you had to spend close to £1,000 for a monitor, nearly £1,200 for your graphic cards, and not to mention the rest. And now that I had gotten myself two graphic cards, the issues of game not supporting SLI came up. So it's fair to say that it was a rough start for early adopters of the technology, and after listening to me, you might think I'm against buying ultra-wide, but that is not the case, and here is why. Even with these issues, gaming on this monitor was the best experience I had, and the issues that I mentioned earlier had been resolved. Acer eventually released the Predator X34A and somewhat guaranteed that it would overclock to 100Hz. The other difference is that the X34A can rotate side to side, whereas the X34 could not. And all the games I had mentioned earlier have been optimized, and all the current major games are so too. And with the release of the Nvidia GTX 1080 Ti, you can now play games at their highest setting without having to pay £1,200 or dollars for a graphic card or graphic cards that you know will get outdated in a couple of months. Even though you're paying a lot for a monitor, it's not likely that you're gonna change it very often, unlike a graphic card. I actually did end up selling my X34 and replaced it with the X34A, but that was only because I was moving countries. But before I purchased the X34A, I bought myself a Asus PG279Q to see whether it was worth paying extra for an ultra-wide monitor, and was going from 100Hz to 144Hz monitor a noticeable difference. Yes, the 144Hz refresh rate did make a difference, but gaming on a ultra-wide monitor was such a unique experience that going on a 27-inch 16:9 aspect ratio monitor just felt like a downgrade. Not to mention I had some serious backlight bleed issues with the PG279Q. But back to the Acer X34. Like I said, gaming on this is such an amazing experience, the camera doesn't do justice to how good this actually looks. The monitor covers just the right amount of your peripheral vision to immerse you completely in the game. Plus, having the monitor at 100Hz refresh rate with the G-Sync technology makes the gaming experience perfectly smooth without any screen tearing. All in all, this is the best gaming experience I have ever had with a monitor. So yes, I definitely recommend getting this monitor or the Asus PG348Q if you've been on the fence about getting either one of those. The Asus PG348Q is basically the same monitor, but I do believe it has a better design in terms of navigating through the on-screen display. It's basically got a cursor at the back which helps you greatly. And I believe now is the right time to get either one of those. Unless you're an esport gamer, then it might be best for you to get a monitor with a higher refresh rate, but if you're not, then ultra wide is the way to go. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and as always, thanks for watching.